Tamokui was an ugly, lonely jerk with no aura and no chicks. He was so ugly just like you that a hot chick decided to end his miserable life by blessing him with her lightning blade. However, the god isn't going to let it slide, so he throws this burden in another world, and he has become even more uglier as a low-life goblin. He starts walking in just a couple of days, but one day, he realizes that he still has a unique ability from his previous which will make him an overpowered lord in this world. Tamokui is getting punished by a hot girl, and there's red juice flying everywhere. But then it's revealed that Tamokui actually likes Andrew's condition and tells her to head to the kitchen. She pulls out a dagger, ready to end him. Suddenly, Tamokui opens his eyes and sees an ugly old goblin shocked to find him awake. Tamokui is confused, while the old goblin names him Gabru instead of Gabkichi. The goblin shoves something slimy into Tamokui's mouth, and he falls asleep again. Turns out Tamokui had died like a pathetic jerk and got reincarnated as a little green goblin. Everyone around him is also a goblin, and he starts crying. In just 3 days, the goblins grow to look 14. Gabru is hyped because he's got a second shot at life. The old goblin brings one last slimy meal, which Gabru enjoys. Another goblin, just as impatient, rushes out with him. Outside, the world looks like Earth, but the plants are weird and creepy birds fly around. One goblin is amazed by the world, and Gabru calls Gabkichi to join him. Gabru chooses Gabkichi as his teammate because he's the biggest goblin around. They head into the forest and find a rabbit that looks like a discount unicorn. Gabkichi chases it while Gabru jumps from a tree and kills it with one hit. Gabkichi drools and is ready to suck it all in, but Gabru knocks some sense into him. Gabkichi's manners suck, so Gabru gives him a lesson by knocking him out. Gabru smashes the rabbit's horn with a stone, and a cheap solo leveling system appears, showing he obtained the horn. When Gabkichi wakes up, Gabru shares the rabbit meat with him, and the guy cries. The two become killer hunters of horned rabbits. The horns are way better than Gabru expected, and the leveling screen keeps popping up, though no one else can see it. Gabru remembers a past life ability that let him absorb anything, even cow crap, and gain its power. That ability is gone now, but he's thankful to have this new one. They return to the cave and meet Gobby, who's shocked they're eating horned rabbits, which can kill goblins easily. Gobby shows interest in Gabru, but he's into the Andrew Tate mindset, while Gabkichi is a loser. The next day, Rain stops the goblins from hunting, but Gabru heads to the storage area to be productive. He finds human women without clothes and is tempted but keeps it together. While crafting weapons, the elder Gabugii shows up, impressed by Gabru's skills. He shows him how to check levels, revealing he's level 86. He says goblins evolve into hobgoblins at level 100 but mocks Gabru, thinking he doesn't have what it takes. Later, the team hunts snakes and beavers, and after eating them, Gabru gains new abilities. They enter a bat cave, nearly crap themselves, but Gabru uses his evil eye to freeze the bats mid-air, letting them kill them easily. As they feast, jealous goblins attack at night. Thanks to his ability, Gabru sees it coming and beats them, accidentally killing one. The next day, they find an orc and take him down. Gabru eats half and brings the rest to the cave, offering it to others. The goblins think he's some kind of king. That night, Gabru gets a message asking if he wants to evolve. He wakes up bigger and stronger. Gabkichi also evolves, and Gabugii is shook. Gabkichi challenges Gabru. They fight, and while Gabru wins, he sees Gabkichi has insane raw strength. Suddenly, wolves attack. Gabru charges, while Gobmi snipes from afar. The three wipe out the pack. Gabru eats a wolf and gains leadership abilities. Back at the cave, he acts like a leader and promises to teach everyone how to hunt and make weapons. The goblins cheer and accept Gabru as their leader. After a couple of days, Gabru wakes up Gabugii and shows him that a bunch of goblins have eaten poison after clapping the human women. Their bodies are burned as a memorial, and now they need more women. Gabru starts training the little goblin kids so they can become Sigma Chads, but the kids think the training is hard as hell. Suddenly, Gabru senses someone coming, so he pulls out his sword. Turns out they're not raiders but the original goblin fathers, strong and fierce warriors, bringing food and women. Due to the goblin's strong DNA, the offspring are always goblins, no matter the species. Gabru asks one of the hobgoblins if he can handle the women, but the guy is cocky and wants to fight. The other goblins turn on him, and just when chaos is about to break out, Hubsadi and Hobsei arrive to announce that the leaders will fight to decide who leads the goblins. With one clean punch, Gabru knocks him out and ties him with silk. Gabru becomes the official leader and tells everyone not to touch the human women. He goes to the women and assures them he won't hurt them, only wants to learn their knowledge. The women break into tears. The next morning, the redhead greets Gabru, and they seem calm now. Gabru shifts focus from hunting to intense physical training for the goblins. Some can't keep up, so he punches the wolfsmith out of them, annoying the elder goblins. That night, Gubkichi and Gabru have an intense sparring match. Later, the hobgoblins try to sneak up on the human women, but Gabru already knows. He beats the hell out of them, ties them up, and tells Gobmi to gather everyone outside the cave. He hangs Hobkin upside down, leaving him half dead. By morning, Hobkin is dead, and the others are nearly finished too. Their next hunt is a triple horn horse, but its body is too tough even for a crossbow. They manage to kill it anyway, and Gabru gains a new ability, 3 thrusts for triple damage. That night, while Gabru is sleeping, the redhead cuddles up to him, and soon Gobmi joins. Gabru feels like he's living his dream. He appoints leaders for different roles and heads deeper into the forest to test his magic. He finds another 3-horn horse and instantly blasts its head off with magic. He's thrilled with his new power and makes a bold mistake. He heads to the northern side of the forest. There, he finds a blood trail and remembers the old man's warning about the red giant grizzly bear. The ground shakes, and the massive beast appears. Instead of running like any sane goblin, Gabru jumps right into battle. Back at the cave, Gobmi gets worried when Gabru doesn't return. Meanwhile, Gabru fires a blast at the bear's head, but it blocks with its arm. The bear shows intelligence, making Gabru even more hyped. It slashes at him, but Gabru uses his snake eyes to predict the attack. He tries using spider silk to bind it, no luck. The bear hits harder than your dad during a bad report card day and uses fire breath. Gabru barely dodges and counters with a water shield. Then he stabs inside the bear's mouth, but it throws him into the trees with a claw swipe. Gabru's not backing down. He gets serious and goes all out. After an insane brawl, he finally defeats the beast, but not without getting stabbed in the gut. As he's bleeding out, Gabru eats the bear meat and selects the evolution option. The next day, Gabru returns to the cave, and everyone is shocked to see him alive. Gabugii tells him that he's no longer a hobgoblin. He's evolved into an ogre. After the excitement, the redhead and Gobmi start following Gabru everywhere. Gabru first tries to cheer up the humans by complimenting the blacksmith girl, which annoys the redhead and Gobmi. Then, 2 sisters ask for help with cooking, so Gabru promises to assign goblins to them. They get excited, and while Gabru wants to clap them, he knows the 2 witches behind him are watching. Later, Gabru visits the chemist, who is working on a potion. He senses poison in it, and the woman apologizes, saying it was meant for protection but she no longer needs it because she trusts the goblins. Gabru picks her up and makes her smile, but instantly senses murderous intent from the redhead and Gobmi. Apparently, the girl wanted more time with Gabru than he gave her. There's another problem. Gabru's large size makes it hard for him to spar, and even Gubkichi gets exhausted after a session. Gabru apologizes, noticing Gubkichi looks more tired than usual. When he asks about it, Gubkichi just says he's going hunting. Meanwhile, Gobmi and Hubsato also head out to hunt, and Gob continues his hunt for spirit stones. Since Gabru has lost an arm, he can't do much fighting, so he focuses on stitching new clothes. He asks Hobse about Gubkichi, but she doesn't care and just wants to read in peace. The next day, as Gabru is eating, Gob shows up with an injured carbuncle. Gabru quickly heals her, and she thanks him. It turns out she's an artificial carbuncle created by a mage named Velvet, who hid his treasures using her before dying. Humans injured her while chasing those treasures, and since she's dying, she offers her treasure to Gabru instead. He agrees and gathers everyone for a treasure hunt. Inside the treasury, Gabru encounters mercenaries after the carbuncle. He offers them a chance to leave, but they act cocky and target him. One casts a lightning spell, triggering Gabru's rage. He goes full beast mode, tossing them around. As the rest of the goblin gang shows up, Gabru finds powerful artifacts on the adventurers. He swallows them and also discovers a magic box that can store hundreds of items. He uses it to collect Velvet's treasure. The carbuncle thanks Gabru before disappearing. After the treasure is collected, Gabru burns her body, revealing a magical arm. It binds to him instantly, giving him a new power boost. It feels like a new arc in a manga. Everyone's strong, Gabru's getting opus, and his harem is expanding. Days later, he meets a dryad, seductive and dangerous. Hours of action drain Gabru's energy. He thinks no one notices, but the girls begin to ignore him. Clueless, he asks the chemist, who tells him he's got hickeys on his neck. Now, even the chemist wants in. Suddenly, all the girls appear, and Gabru, with no escape, soundproofs the room with golden silk and embraces a passionate night. Thanks to Gabru's enhanced powers, he can now sense enemies from far away. Some elves arrive at the goblin cave and demand Gabru's help in a war. They warn him that refusing means punishment. Gabugii mentions they only have a month's food, but Gobru cuts him off and tells the elves to take their crap elsewhere. If they want help, they should be honest. This pisses off the elf brat, who draws his sword. Using the evil eye, Gobru freezes them and lifts the leader by the neck, demanding the archers lower their weapons. One still fires. Gobru breaks the arrow with his teeth. Everyone freaks out and runs. The next day, Gobru hunts gray slimes and gains the ability to make little copies of himself. The idiot elves return, and Gobru scares them off with a mighty scream, then traps them in spider silk. The elf girls tell him they tried to stop this, but the leader wouldn't listen. Gobru gives them a chance. If they beat his goblins in training, they go free. Out of 23 elves, 6 lose. Gobru eats them, and the leader is killed. Meanwhile, Gubkichi levels up in the forest and becomes a red giant. When he returns, everyone's hyped. He spars with Gobru, and though it's intense, Gobru wins again. That night, Gobru dreams of a mysterious man giving him kinship, but wakes up to nothing. 4 goblins evolve into hobgoblins thanks to Gubkichi, including Gobru's sibling, Gobji. To impress Gobru, Hobsei evolves into a half-spell lord, bursting with mana. She drags him outside and burns half the forest to show off. Gobru stops her from going overboard and gifts her new artifacts. The training exhausts the older goblins, so they ask to leave the village. Gobru agrees but gives them a mithril knife with his blood as a gift. Later, Gobru finds an orc who killed a human and slaughters it, gaining the ability to tame monsters. That night, he asks if anyone else wants to leave. No one does. Satisfied, Gobru makes magic earrings to keep everyone connected. Gob also becomes stronger. Testing his new skill, Gobru tames a tri-horn horse, a gray bear, and a wolf leader to protect the girls. He notices the redhead girl's abilities are improving fast. She suddenly unlocks a new job, Noir Soldier. She gains strength by eating monsters and quickly levels up. Then Gobji reports that humans are keeping goblins in the woods. Gobru senses war has begun. Suddenly, a group of kobolds rushes in, chased by skeletons. Gobru orders his team to fight, but weapons don't work. Hubsato breaks one with blunt force, and Gobru realizes fists are the way to go. He charges in, smashes the skeletons, and destroys their leader in 7 seconds. After eating the leader, Gobru gains its powers. The grateful kobolds bow and call him master. They admit they're weaker than goblins and surrender their fate. Gobru agrees to help them recover. While out hunting with Gubkichi, Gobru catches sight of a shady group moving through the trees. He taps into his skill and finds out they're planning to snatch the elf chief's daughter. To make it worse, some snake among the elves is feeding them info. That night, as the elf girl sneaks through the forest with her guards, human scum ambush them and wipe out everyone. Right before they grab the girl, Gobru crashes the party and shreds the attackers. He roughs up one survivor and gets the truth. Humans are planning a full-on assault in 20 days. The girl wakes up and spots Gobru standing there like some wild threat. She goes off on him, but Gobru brushes her aside, cool as ever. He tells her straight, they're not part of the elves' drama or the humans' circus. Then, he exposes the traitor right in front of her. She freezes, realizes she messed up, and apologizes. Next day, Gobru and Gubkichi take her back to the elf village. Gobru notices archers hiding in the trees, itching to shoot. The girl calms them down. Inside, they meet the elf chief. Gobru doesn't bother with nice words. He didn't save her out of kindness. He wanted to see how much the old man values his own blood. The chief still hands over rewards. Gobru drops a piece of intel about the humans. Nothing big, just enough to bait interest. A new alliance kicks off. Best part, booze. Gobru's fully on board now, ready to swing halberds for these leaf lovers. The king asks about 20 missing soldiers, but Gobru plays dumb like he's never heard a thing. Morning rolls in, and Gami evolves like a beast. Blessing from the god of ice hits hard, massive ice control and eyes that mess with enemies' heads. Gob's also leveled up into a half-earth lord. He's now a walking mountain with terrain control, ore tracking, and strength boosts. Hubsato unlocks blood control as a half-blood lord. With war creeping closer, Gobru trains everyone. Goblins, elves, kobolds, whoever can hold a weapon. He hands out calm earrings. Elves refuse at first, thinking they're too fancy. Later that night, he strikes a deal behind closed doors. After smashing a skeleton knight, Gobru earns a new skill, skeleton summoning. He can call in hundreds, from basic bones to rare units, but they crumble under sunlight. He keeps drilling the kobolds, grabs more wolves, and upgrades his halberd, thanks to Emery. She wants more than just gratitude now. During sparring, Gubkichi blurts out that he's into Gob. Gobru hypes him up like a wild coach, even knowing it might crash and burn. Gob passes, but Gubkichi still lands a new girl, so he's winning either way. A few days later, they squash weird bug monsters, and Gabru unlocks an exoskeleton skill. The armor heals, adapts to land, sea, and sky, but eats his clothes. He ends up half naked, flexing without meaning to. It's rough at first, but he rolls with it. Then a goblin group rolls in begging for help. Humans are back at it again. Gabru hands them a calm bracelet for the Elf King. Meanwhile, the elves see some others sparring and get spooked, thinking they're dark elves because of Gabru's earrings. Gabru doesn't flinch, his copies already know the map. He gathers the crew and forms a new mercenary squad. They call it Parabellum, because war isn't just knocking, it's kicking the damn door down. The elves start throwing threats about breaking their deal if Gabru doesn't help. Gabru agrees to crush the humans but makes it clear they'll move how they want, not by elf rules. He grabs his gray bear and a squad of goblins, kobolds, and skeletons, then heads straight for a human camp one of his clones found while scouting. This becomes Parabellum's first official mission. Problem is, the camp's locked behind a magical shield that keeps out monsters and most attacks. Gabru orders the crew to spread out. He shifts his metal arm into a glowing crossbow and fires. One shot, and the barrier shatters like glass. The humans are frozen. Gob traps the whole camp with giant stone walls, sealing them in like rats. Gobmi and Gobsado keep hammering the place, buying time for Gabru to summon his skeleton army. Then he flips his metal arm into rapid fire mode and starts spraying like a turret. The humans pull out their trump cards, a group of heroes led by a fast, sharp-eyed female knight. She figures out Gabru's the necromancer and powers herself up, charging him like lightning. Gabru barely blinks and sends her flying with a flick. He's impressed, wants to keep her alive. She thinks he's some creepy old perv. Gabru ignores her nonsense and tells the squad to capture the heroes, wipe out the rest. Gobmi twists minds with her cursed gaze, making knights turn on each other. Gobsado spills blood like it's art. Only the commander is left. A mage drops a summoned dragon on Gabru's head. The knight goes in for the kill. Gabru blocks it all and pops a shield that shreds the beast. She stands there, speechless. The lazy elf chief shows up late, mutters some half apology, but still hosts a party. Gabru checks on the prisoners, claps the female knight just enough to knock her down a peg. He taps into his magic earrings to drain info from the prisoners and tosses the intel to the elf chief. Useless stuff, but he does it anyway. He warns the humans are planning a full circle assault. Next day, Gabru rolls out with his strike team. They catch 500 infantry and 100 mages marching through the woods. At his signal, giant boulders rain down and crush 200 right away. Gobmi's crossbow squad picks off more from afar. The enemy commander holds his ground, so Gabru sends Gobkichi. Gobkichi throws hands, one-on-one, and drags the guy back. His name's Krobak, a tough commoner. Gabru digs into him and finds out the human princess is dying from a rare disease. She was supposed to marry the Empire's king. And now the humans are crawling around looking for an elf cure that heals everything. Mind, body, maybe even broken hearts. Later, Gobmi stumbles on a hot spring. Gabru turns it into a sauna. Everyone kicks back. After that, the prisoners get tossed into hard training under Gobse and Gobmi. Krobak gets sick of it and challenges Gabru. Gabru buffs him up so he doesn't get folded in one hit. Krobak holds on, but Gabru shuts him down like a strict old school dad. He patches the guy up, then lets Gobkichi go around with him. Krobak holds his own. Gabru, impressed, pops the slave collar and welcomes him to the crew. Next morning, Gabru hauls the injured prisoners to the elf village for healing and casually asks about the rumored potion. The elf chief admits it's already in Gabru's hands. He just didn't know it. Gabru downs it and unlocks blood powers. Just one drop heals a full person. The guy's stunned. This stuff is busted. Now he's wondering just how far he can push it. After a few quiet days, another fat-ass human army shows up, all proud and loud. One of their commanders is having the time of his life, laughing it up, until a giant spear blasts straight through his stomach and drops him like a sack of meat. Gabru doesn't even blink. He pulls out his spear ability, and suddenly the damn sky is raining death. An endless flood of spears crushes half the army. In just 20 minutes, the battlefield's a graveyard. No mercy. Once it's done, Gabru sends a slime to gobble up the corpses, cleaning house like it's pest control. Next morning, Gabru takes the girls to the elf village. Tension's high, everyone's on edge about another attack. But the elf chief, that guy's a walking meme, drunk off his face, couldn't care less if the humans are knocking. Just wants to chug his wine and party like it's a festival. Gabru sits with him, tosses around some strategy, then the squad heads out. On the way back, the night girl steps up. She wants one favor, not for herself, but for her princess, needs that rare elf medicine to save her life. Gabru pauses. He remembers the 5 gods of this world, and how he's carrying the blessing of the god of demise and origin, giving away that medicine might bite him later. Still, having the kingdom as a fallback plan doesn't sound bad. He agrees. At dawn, Gabru gears up for the final clash, one last human base stacked with over 2,000 soldiers. But the real problem? The Braves, S-tier freaks, god-blessed monsters. They not only hit like trucks but boost everyone around them. One of Gabru's replicas confirms they're coming. Time to go big. Gabru unleashes his undead army. Skeletons pour in like a damn tsunami. But the sun's creeping up, and if they burn, it's game over. Gabru flips the script. He tells his clones to coat the bones. The skeletons charge right into sunlight, not giving a damn, now fully battle ready. Gabru steps into the mess, tired of these low-tier mobs. He's ready to wrap this up. Then comes Filippo, one of the Braves, cocky little punk with an evil stench. He sees Gabru and immediately wants to chain him like a pet. Gabru reads the twisted aura on this one. Filippo's rocking powers from a cursed insect god. He throws worms onto the corpses, and they rise, turning into human-sized bug freaks, literal nightmare fuel. But bugs don't mean jack to Gabru. He tears them up in seconds. Filippo throws out his trump card, a massive centipede oozing with venom. It bites Gabru hard. The battlefield holds its breath. Gabru drops, lifeless. But it's a trick. Filippo sends his bug back to the hole, thinking it's over. Wrong move. Gabru pops up with a sneak attack, nearly skewers the brat. Filippo, shocked but hyped, starts flinging more insects. Gabru's had enough. He rips out his trump card, exoskeleton mode. Now he's part insect, part nightmare. While the army clashes in the background, Gabmi senses something's off. Her gut tells her Gabru's in a tight spot. She's right. Filippo panics, ditches his bug body, and makes a naked dash for his life. Gabru tries chasing, but Filippo's shell goes wild and needs to be crushed first. He finishes it off, giving the brat a chance to run. Gabmi finds him and breathes easy, he's alive. Meanwhile, another Gabru replica reaches the human king's camp. No more killing. He tells the king to pack up and leave. He also hands the elf medicine to the night girl. With that, the humans retreat. The war ends, but it comes at a price. 30 Parabellum soldiers fall. The rest gather in silence. Gabru doesn't speak, he burns their bodies to ash. Next day, Gabru wakes up to find some of his crew have leveled up, including his sister Gobfu. His brother Gobji has turned into a half-lord saint, rocking crazy fast healing powers. Gobfu's become a ghoul, no surprise, since she keeps snacking on zombies. Gabru's a bit wary of her, cause she acts like a girl whose dad never came back from getting milk, totally lost and wild. Out of nowhere, Gabru bumps into Gobmi, now a Dodonki. Her whole body's covered in eyes, letting her spot enemies from every angle, making her perfect for keeping watch. Gabru checks on the kobolds next. Their leader has evolved too, looking like a weird human-faced dog. The dude drops a bomb. He's got a true name now, some crazy unpronounceable thing. Old Gabujai steps in, explaining true names show up after hitting a certain power level. They're dangerous. If enemies catch the name, they can curse or mess with the owner, so true names stay top secret. Still, the kobold leader Akita shows his true name to Gabru as a sign of trust. After sorting the kobolds, Gabru deals with the prisoners. He offers them a choice, leave or stay as temporary crew. Lots of young heroes puff up their chests, acting like they're way stronger than goblins. Gabru cuts through the bullshit and tells those cocky losers to leave, trusting his goblins way more than these charmless jerks. The hero leader, who Gabru thinks is missing a few brain cells, talks about fighting for control of Parabellum. Gabru could end it all in a snap but plays along, telling them to team up and attack him. They pull out their orb weapons, hyping their power. Gabru crushes them with one hit, sending them flying like ragdolls. Suddenly, a sneaky attack from King Kong, self-proclaimed boss, slams Gabru into a rock. Gabru punches back hard, leaving King Kong close to dead. Gabru looks for the half-damper, finds him flirting with Gobmi, and dishes out a no-nonsense old-school beating. Gombai steps in, and Gabru shares some blood to patch the guy up. The half-damper comes back, now hopelessly hooked after tasting Gabru's blood. Gabru's not having it and beats him down again. In the end, they accept 50 new provisional members. Gabru introduces Emery to the dwarves, telling her to get tight since dwarves are the top-tier craftsmen. The dwarves hook Gabru up with a fresh warhammer as a gift. Gabru takes a stroll in the woods, thinking about all the changes. A dryad shows up, offers some fun. Gabru tries to say no, but can't resist the vibe. Back in the village, the girls freak out seeing kiss marks all over his face. Afterward, Gabru leads the gang to grow crops with magical seeds from the dryad. The seeds speed up growth and boost nutrition. The prisoners get released but have fallen under Gobmi's evil eye, turning into spies. Gobru finds out the enemy army is pulling back. The elf chief breathes easy, glad it's over. The chief invites Ru to join their party. Gobru builds a skeleton centipede out of bones and slime and shows it off as a ride to take the girls home. The girls worry they're getting kicked out, but Gobru reminds them of his promise to bring them home first. Then they can decide to stay or bounce. That night, a big feast welcomes the new members. Next day, Gobru splits everyone into groups to scout the outside world but makes sure they know to come back safe. They all head out. Gobru thinks things won't be the same without the whole crew but looks forward to tougher fights and eating better meat. For now, they set course for the city of Trite. Gobru and the girls roll into Trite, a city where about a quarter of the people are demi-humans. Still, seeing a giant ogre with a crew of gorgeous waifus freaks most folks out. Thanks to Gobru's crew, he scores some fancy rooms. He tells the girls they can choose to live in the forest or stay in the city, but deep down, he doesn't want any of them to leave. After all, they were snatched by goblins once, and he's not about to lose them again. Stepping into the city, Gobru gets jumped more than once but crushes every attacker. An old dude shows up asking if it's their first time doing business, and the redhead girl steps up, promising to handle the paperwork like a boss. The girls want new threads, but Gobru, ever the Sigma, slips into disguise as his old self, Tomokui. He senses whispers about the ugly ogre and suddenly, a pack of low-life bandits attack. One quick blast from Gobru clears the lot, and he snacks on their meat. Notice their rings, marks of a gang. Gobru spots a kid getting hassled by the same gang. They demand more money if he wants to see the princess again. The kid pulls swords, but numbers don't lie. Gobru steps in, wrecking their day with some slimy replica trick to sniff out their hideout. The kid flips out, so Tomokui drops his disguise and shows who he really is. That night, the kid tells Gobru the princess wanted a quiet life away from royal nonsense, but ended up kidnapped. Gobru knows the hideout spot. He storms the villa, beats up the kidnappers, and brings the princess back alive. He warns the kid to keep quiet. Genki steps in with hypnotism to wipe the kid's memory clean. Next day, goblin babies hatch in the cave, and Gobru's hyped to train the new generation. He asks the girls if they want to stay, but the dumb ogres already got their bags packed for the forest. Out of nowhere, the tomboy princess from the night before shows up, Rubiria, royal brat of the kingdom. She insists on spilling the truth, and Gobru's forced to listen. She wants a ride back to Oswell, the royal capital. Gobru's stunned by her spoiled attitude and flat out refuses. He orders guards to take her back and lectures her for hours. She just smiles through it. Then, the kingdom throws a gold plate worth 1,000,000 coins on the table. The girls lose their minds and push Gobru to accept the cash. Greedy bastard that he is, he agrees. They roll out toward the royal capital. Meanwhile, guards keep hunting the city for the princess. The princess is curious as hell, always poking around after years of tight security. They spot a buffalo herd, cook up steaks, and she's blown away by the taste. On the road, her wild curiosity almost kills her more than once. Gobru dishes out punishments for her reckless moves. The boy with them turns out to be the kingdom's knight, watching over the princess since she was a kid. Gobru pushes him hard in morning trading. The princess picks up sword swinging too, but that's enough for now. At night, they plan the route to the capital. The cliffs nearby are crawling with falaise eagles, deadly apex predators. Their leader, the Jade Eagle, holds powers that terrify everyone. Gobru, always the wild card, decides to face the Jade Eagle head-on. Next day, Gobru tears through the lesser eagles and snacks on their meat. Then the Jade Eagle shows up. Genki, Neki, and Fuki freak out, ready to bail if Gobru loses. Gami shuts them down. Gobru already went toe-to-toe with a red bear all night and won. After a brutal fight, Gobru is left limbless. Calm as ever, he eats his own arm to regrow his leg and arm, then powers up his exoskeleton for the final strike. He finds the Jade Eagle's weak spot fast, finishes the fight, and slurps down the soul stone. Now his exoskeleton glows green, mimicking the Jade Eagle's power. Gobru eats the eagle too. The princess wonders why he always eats his prey. Gobru remembers the same question from his past life and gives the same weird answer. He wants to own his kills, taking their grudges inside him. It's strange, but the princess rolls with it. The party hits a remote village filled with humans. Seeing an ogre, the villagers get instantly pissed, grabbing their weapons like they want to slice and dice. The princess steps up, slamming down her magical weapon, and the crowd parts like they just saw the queen herself. Gobru's jaw drops. This respect is something he's only read about in old dusty books. The mayor hands over his home for them to crash. Later, at the waterfall, Rubiria gets Gami all riled up by splashing her with cold water. The night turns wild with a killer dinner, topped off by Gabru sharing some elf booze that sends everyone straight to La La Land. One drunk villager even slaps Gobmi's ass by mistake, and Gabru doesn't hold back, he throws down on the kid. The night ends on a high, but the next day they're off toward the Crumble Mountains. Gabru spots the two sisters looking pale as ghosts. They admit exhaustion from cooking all night. Hours later, their bellies balloon like crazy. Gabru calls Gobchi, who drops the bomb. They're carrying ogre babies and need nutrients fast or the girls will die. No good food around, so Gabru gets savage. He rips off his own arm like it's nothing. The meat's too tough for the girls, so Gabru eats it himself first, then offers it to them like a true knight. They find a cave, and demons clear out some bears blocking their way. The sisters' bellies keep swelling, so Gabru goes full doc mode, heals them, knocks them out with anesthesia, then busts out his knife for the delivery. Two healthy ogre babies arrive, a girl and a boy. Gabru shakes from the stress but is damn glad everyone's alive. Kabuji tells him these kids might be mixed blood, part human, part monster, a rare, dangerous combo with twisted minds. Gabru shrugs it off, saying he'll raise them no matter what. Kabuji jokes next time they'll just yank the babies out and feed them nutrients straight. The girl gets named Oro, the boy Argento, cause he popped out by surprise. Heavy snow crashes down that night. Gabru senses a beast he's never met before. He goes to check it out, turns out to be a stunning white stag. For the first time, Gabru feels the icy grip of death creeping in. He gears up for a fight, even if the odds suck. The stag drops its antlers and bolts. Gabru freezes, almost gobbling the horns but remembers the kids need those. On the way back, he stumbles on a group of humans and demi-humans fighting a giant minotaur and its kids. The little minotaurs fall easy, but the big one smashes heroes left and right, leaving only the leader standing. Gabru jumps in, crushing the beast with a single brutal hit. The leader faces Gabru, ready to brawl, but Gabru feels a tidal wave of power from him. He respects the guy's guts, hides his true identity by saying he's working for someone, and trades healing potions for the Minotaur. The heroes watch him leave, knowing they dodged a bullet. Back in the cave, Gabru breaks down, tears falling as his kids call him daddy like your ex used to. He hands them the antlers, which supercharge their powers. Gabru chomps down and levels up hard, while Rubiria lands a fresh new job. Night falls, and a bunch of random crap tries to mess with him. But Gabru just ignores it, saving all his energy for morning. When dawn hits, Gabru has evolved to a whole new savage level. A new day breaks with fresh trouble knocking at the door. The blacksmith Emery and alchemist Spinel are also pregnant, but Gabru stays chill, knowing exactly what's coming. They find a quiet spot, and both girls give birth to Gabru's kids. Emery's baby is a towering high orc, and Gabru names him Oniwaka. Spinel's kid is a tiny human girl, named Nicola. The size difference between the two is wild. After some time, they hit Purgatory, the last stop before the royal capital. Rubiria grabs a disguise to dodge unwanted eyes. Gabru tells the girls to rest while he heads to the guild with Rubelia and the crew. At the guild, adventurers stare in awe at Gabru, itching to test their luck against him. Gabru knows one hit from him would end it quick, so he lets other heroes handle the challengers. Genki breaks down crying after the fight, crushed by the reality of what just happened. Later, Gabru spots a camera at the market and snaps it up to capture goofy moments with his kids. Night comes, and Gabru realizes he forgot to check in with his old friends. First, he reaches out to Hobsato and Hobse, who are busy hunting kidnappers and bandits for supplies. Meanwhile, Gobmi sits atop a mountain, scanning with her eyes, pulling in info like a machine. Gabru tells her to take a break, even warriors need rest. Suddenly, a nightmare hits him hard. He sees himself cut clean in half, struggling to breathe. Sweat drips from his forehead as Gobmi watches, concerned. Next day, Gabru shares the vision and decides to detour toward the city where Gobkichi waits. The detour adds 2 days to their journey, but the princess doesn't care. On the way to Gorfai's, Gobmi falls behind the group, feeling low, doubting if she's worth Gabru's attention. Gabru reassures her, no matter what, she's his first love. Even if she can't carry his child, she'll always hold that spot in his heart. They reach Gorfai's and spot a dungeon with adventurers fleeing in panic. The rumor, a demonic minotaur lurks inside. Gabru talks to the mayor, who says 3 groups already tried and failed to beat the dungeon boss. Suddenly, Gobkichi and Gob emerge, dragging passed out adventurers. Gob explains the crew hit the dungeon's depths where a monster disguised itself as Gabru. Gobkichi died but got blessed by a god, turning into a minotaur. Gobkichi throws down a rematch challenge. Gabru expected this moment. In the arena, the 2 giants clash, evenly matched. Gabru struggles against Gobkichi's raging fire. The Minotaur summons a bull from his shield, giving Gabru a brutal fight. Gabru snaps and unleashes the dance of 1,000 spears. Gubkichi can't dodge and retaliates by launching into the air, smashing Gabru with a fiery blow, forgetting their past bond. Realizing what he did, Gubkichi regrets it, but Gabru's fury ignites. He roars like a demon and blasts Gubkichi flying. The scene hits Gabru with a flashback to their first fight. He's stunned by how far they've both come. The next day, the party rolls into Oswell's capital. The fight between Gabru and Gubkichi drags through the night, ending with Gabru standing tall. Gubkichi and Go retreat to a cave, while the rest head to the capital. The city is stunning, dripping with beauty and fancy decorations. Everyone's jaw drops at the smooth pavement and sparkling fountains. They reach the Umber Palace, where the princess insists they stay the night. She hooks them up with a feast so heavy no one leaves hungry. When night falls, the girls toss and turn, not used to soft beds and fancy rooms. Morning comes, and the princess hands Gabru his payment plus a special card that lets him slip in and out of the capital anytime. Gabru wonders if she's cool letting a weird ogre wander the city, but she's already checked him during their trip, so he's good to go. The princess acts like a brat but hides sharp moves behind that attitude. The Parabellum mercenary crew starts their journey home, but Gabru leaves behind some replicas just in case. Gabmi stays down, feeling small next to Gubkichi's insane growth, stuck as a dampier. Gabru slams the brakes, tells her he's never dropping his friends, and jumps into training mode. He summons a horde of high orcs, and Gabmi smashes through them like a beast. 35 orcs hit the dirt, but she's still not satisfied. Suddenly, she collapses, and Gabru barely catches her. Night falls, they eat, crash, and wake to a surprise. Gabmi evolves into a full vampire lord, leveling up hard. Gabru's pumped, throwing her mad props. They hit the forest next, and Gabru can't wait to see their old cave. It's not a cave anymore, it's a full-on castle. The construction crew, tiny cats, working hard and stealing hearts with their cuteness. Then Gabji drops in with grim news. Gabujai is gasping for his last breath. Gabru rushes over, showing Gabujai his family and kids. Gabujai is impressed, like it was yesterday he found Gabru. Gabru reveals he's now an apostle lord. Gubkichi is a minotaur, but Gabujai throws out a weird name for them. Gabru and the gang look awkward, but Gabujai promises he can name them better. After some trash talk, Gabujai dies, and Gabru feels the hit hard. Then Gabujai's night rises. They burn the old man and discover Gabujai was only 20. To honor him, Gabru throws a fight tournament with the crew, ranking everyone on the skills they've built. Gubkichi tells Gabru he wouldn't have come this far without him and wants to get even stronger. The battles rage till afternoon, ending with Gabru on top. Gabru's heart swells seeing his family grow strong. No matter how short his time, he swears to make this second life legendary. That night, the princess calls, pulling Gabru back to the palace with a tempting reward. Gabru knows better than to make enemies out of the kingdom. He's got mouths to feed and a big family to protect. Next morning, Gabru gathers his closest allies. They're ready for the royal capital. Gabru's fired up, ready to face fresh foes and feast on their meat.